Xu Xiaodong, aka the Mad Dog, is one of China's most prolific and well-known MMA fighters. But despite being one of the forefathers of bringing MMA to China, he's also one of the most hated and disrespected MMA fighters in Chinese history. Now, I talked about it in my previous fake martial arts being exposed, but I didn't actually realise the extent to how far this guy's history goes and just how crazy his story is. And there is so much to this guy's life. It's just unbelievable, from censorship to lowering his class to a low-class citizen just for trying to prove these people are fakers and taking advantage of people. So watch all the way to the end, guys. There is a lot of stuff for this. But to understand how he got to where he is today, let's go back to when he was born.
方斌老师的事儿 OK。
Xu was born November 15th, 1979 in Beijing. He had an average childhood, nothing too crazy, and then in 1996 he entered the Beijing Sports School, where he trained in the art of Sanshou, which is essentially Chinese boxing or Chinese kickboxing. It's a full contact sport, pretty intense stuff, nothing too out there. He competed twice during this phase of his life in the Beijing Invitational Tournament, finishing as the champion in one and first runner-up respectively. So you have to know, even from an early stage, he was a good fighter and he had a knack for it, which was clear to see to anyone. So it wasn't actually until 2001 when Xu began training for mixed martial arts and Muay Thai, a combination of the two. He was drawn back to the style because of how free it was apparently, and then a year later he founded his first MMA team in Beijing, which was at the time one of the only mixed martial arts in China. You see, China, very traditional, believe in the old style of things, so MMA hadn't quite penetrated the market yet, but Xu really saw a place for it and believed that it was the most efficient and modern form of fighting because it was a combination of pretty much the most efficient forms of fighting. Now, when he was training on this and he was sort of taking a look around the environment, he felt angry apparently and frustrated by the amount of fake martial arts practitioners out there. He saw loads of people taking advantage, stealing money and just essentially being shit people while portraying themselves as almost godlike beings. So he wanted to demonstrate the superiority of MMA, the modern fighting style. No bullshit, no show tactics, just straight up MMA. So then in 2017 he had his first real famous fight. This is what skyrocketed him to fame. It's what you will all probably recognize him for. You see, he got into an argument on social media with Mr. Wei. Wei was challenged. Basically, she said, prove that these martial arts are real or superior to the MMA. Now this ended up in a bare knuckle fight in the basement in 2007, and she won in a matter of seconds, less than 20 seconds, absolutely beating the living daylights out of this old guy. Now that's a funny video to watch, right? You know, it is a bit of justice served. This dude gets his ass handed to him, who's been lying to people and is so full of his own crap he believes it. You'd watch the video and you'd be pretty satisfied there that that's the end of it. Well, that's actually not the case. After the video went viral, the Chinese government and officials and high-ups are actually incredibly pissed off by this video because they thought it was disparaging Chinese culture. That led to him receiving death threats to his family, to himself, and even the beverage tycoon Cheng Sheng offered over $1 million to any traditional fighter that could beat him up. I mean, that really just, it sours my mouth to think that some multi-billionaire would sit around and offer to pay people just to try and prove that they're better than him. He's straight out of Tekken, this dude. He's some evil corporation leader. Who the fuck has enough time to try and pay people to fight someone? It's like his dad works at Microsoft. It's pretty sickening. Anyway, Shu continued to fight self-proclaimed Chi masters, and he has a lot of success. There's lots of videos out there online. While we're here as well, if you've enjoyed the video so far and want to see more content like this, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, because that helps me to continue making these videos. It's free of charge and you get plenty of free content, and I hope you enjoy. Now, coming back round to more modern times, in 2019 Shu was sued by a Tai Chi Grandmaster Shen, as he called him a fraud. He basically said, look, you're a fraud, you can't beat me up in a fight and I can prove it. And Chen was naturally quite offended by this, but rather than taking him up on the offer to fight, he actually sued him. And the government ordered Shu to pay $60,000 in damages and apologise for 7 consecutive days on social media. And in addition to this, his social credit rating was lowered to the point where he couldn't rent, own property, stay in certain hotels, or even travel on high-speed rail and buy plane tickets. Now, at the risk of sounding ignorant, I wasn't aware the extent to how the social credit rating system in China worked. I didn't even know it existed until I started looking this guy up. But for those of you that are unaware, since 2009, a new system was put in place in China where anyone's ability to interact with the world around them is essentially rated by their class. And if it drops low enough, they can't get on planes, they can't get on trains, and they have to just kind of sit there and essentially just never get past whatever barriers in life they found themselves in. And that's the situation that they tried to put Shu in, just for trying to prove that MMA is, as it is, a superior sport to any fake martial arts out there. So that's pretty crazy. Now, he fought in 2019 and he beat him up pretty bad.
是绝对不允许的。比赛开始了，万人瞩目的狂人动画从点映室李刚比赛开始了，完了，倒地以后不能击打，倒地不能击打。哼，因为这次比赛里面，狂人动画真正的发挥起了他的全的力量的优势，不给点映室，不给咏春李刚任何的还手的机会和时间。我就打近战，我用我的力量狂轰我乱炸。这样使得吕刚他不可能发挥出他的两翼的点穴的技法，他没有机会，根本没有时间。停，我们看到比赛结束，比赛结束，为了保护吕刚，比赛结束，比赛结束了。回去，医生，
医生，请医生。
医生上来。
But he was only allowed by the government to fight that fight, provided he was wearing clown makeup to hide his face, and he had to fight under a pseudonym. When I saw that, I thought it was sort of like a Braveheart homage, or he was just trying to be intimidating, but no, that was done to disrespect him. That was supposed to be clown makeup, and it took him 36 hours to reach the fight location due to his low credit score. He couldn't fly there, and he couldn't get the train, despite it being practically on the other side of China, so he had to drive 36 hours just to fight him. Now when I watched the video, I felt a little bit I felt sorry for the guy getting beat, because I thought, you know, he clearly doesn't stand a chance, but knowing the whole story and knowing that he had to go all that length and that his life is in danger and that they've censored him and even gone as far as to remove him from the internet in China so that other people can't find him, I do get why he's so determined and maybe so angry about it, to the extent that he would go out there and just batter these people, because if a similar thing was happening to me just for talking about these idiots making up fake stuff, I'd be pretty pissed. And the only reason that master probably agreed to fight him in the first place is because he thought that because of all of the threat and danger he's under, he wouldn't accept it. But he done it. Now he uploads YouTube videos where he talks about fights and monologues. It's called Brother Dong's Hot Takes. So I'll put a link to the description for you guys to check that out as well if you want to. But he can't even upload that himself. He has to send it out to his friends outside of China to get past the firewall. He's doing God's work out there, and he's getting a hell of a hard time for it. And no one deserves to be shit on by an entire government just for proving that their bullshit martial arts aren't real. I hope you enjoyed, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
还有57秒。手表。配了的陆哥。配了的。直拳上够，直拳上够。对，勾拳，勾，不要着急，上够，上够，上够，上够，上够。对，接着勾，勾，勾，勾。
好，比赛结束。好，比赛结束，比赛结束，比赛。